I discovered recently that it was because of disabled workers, men and women, in the Industrial Revolution and the industrial years, that we have safety measures, that employers are held to account, and that we have a government at all. Because disabled bodies were everywhere, and disabled bodies of knowledge were everywhere in the industrializing years, has hidden them, has made them absent from history books, from education. So really, we are just like in China in the communist years, where they could teach what they wanted. It's just like that now. Only we feel we have democracy and freedom of speech, but we don't. If we continue to look at disabled people like freaks, if we won't show a baby to their mum, because that baby, that deformed baby is deformed, is seen as lesser than. I remember going on a date with a guy. I didn't really fancy him or anything. He was, quite superficial and all that kind of thing. And he drove this sports car and he was all swag. But somehow we ended up getting on and had a good first date. And it was only after when he, offered to drive me home. And, of course, we got all the danger and all that. But I was in the car and I just mentioned that, I used to go skiing, but I stopped just because, it was getting a bit difficult on my leg. And I explained I had a club foot. He hastily opened the door and kind of kicked me out the car. I was near my flat anyway, so it didn't matter. But I remember that really clearly, this disgust, this sudden, oh my God, I have to get her out of here. I turned into a cockroach from him. The disability is something very disgusting, something vile. And even now I see when people shake their shoulders or act really, there is nothing wrong with you. Why do you keep going on about something being wrong with you? The reason why people are bullying you and the reason why people are nasty to you is because you make it so. It's your fault. It's your fault for everything. And it's curious, the fragments of days that remain with me. I see trees high up, untouchable, and I feel themselves as tongues lapping up oxygen. I'm moved by the glistening sunshine that hits my eyes. I feel not warm and not comfortable, but closer still to this feeling that I can run away forever from safety. I feel a separate entity from everything that is external to me, and realize right there and then that everything in my life and what I know is completely external, and this I breathe out in a sharp wheeze. I am exhausted by it. Propelled air sharpness as sound waves that ringlet themselves around and around, and I lie my head back against the wall of the supermarket, and a man passes in the supermarket's uniform, and he notices me, and he puts what he is carrying down, then returns and asks if I'm all right. Restless, I'm here. I see out that skyly grey, and I wonder what I'm doing here anyway. What am I doing here? Oh, you don't know. What am I doing here? Please, someone, make it all stop. I can't do the conventional way of living. They render me absent anyway. The mother gives birth to a baby, and the doctors don't want the mother to see her own baby because it is deformed, so wishes it away into surgery. They could do that in those days without the mother or father's signature, and the father is stressed because the mother is losing lots of blood. Then the mother dies, so they have the machines out now, and the cries from the baby, and they're trying to save the mother, who still has not seen her baby, because her baby was deemed too deformed to be loved in the way she was born. The girl finds out that she was the baby, and her mother didn't see her until she was 3 days old. And by that time the girl has a cast on her leg. The girl baby, a 3-day-old baby, with a cast on her leg, right up to the thigh. It rattles the girl's mother, so it rattles the girl's family, so it rattles them. And when you grow up, when I grow up, so you don't tell people, because you know what they'll say. And you're not preempting, because you know what they'll say. You've just been through all that isolation and discrimination and all those words before. You received it. You have received it till you're so full of their bullshit that they want to help you, that you drown yourself down their bathtub drain, and you go like candles and make yourself feel better by realizing you've got yourself. All you've got is you, and you're all to blame.
Like breath not breathing. That passage you close the door to, like a kiss to an invisible soulmate, breathed in from the ocean, spread out over dusky starry grey mist and sky. The way she held your hand that night and it melted in you, and you'd met a friend who knew your soul. His eyes burning into yours as he clutches at fine details you hide amongst your brittle stories. Bright, bright furnace, I'm untangling you from my dark edges. Feeling stronger, mindfully, but a body roaring in woe. A slowing mind so you can't unpick details quickly enough for others who stir in impatience at you. Like a fisherman who forgot his net, you gaze at them flowing free in a jeweled sea, and you can do nothing but take home the breath that washes in so shallow at your throat. You cry with a specialist today, and his smile is softer than the softest velvet you own, and you too notice his velvet and smile in recognition of purple. Magic, dreams, and mystery, for life still is one really, and there is magic everywhere. Because Dr. Miracles has stopped working, I now have troubled hair so thick and knots they grind to a pillow that rests me as I groggily breathe, preparing for. And everything that is running, skimming surfaces like the pebbles you throw, they skim in rhythm with your joints that creak miserably in remembrance that you have let your body go as you looked after another part of you. You knew the risks and took it, because beauty comes and goes but kindness stays, rooted into some that is beautiful. I look at the door, feel out for it, open it wide, hear the breeze inside shattering my lungs, the darkness and whirring and colour dropping, dribbling, and him and his eyes, and her and her hands. I'll be in them soon.
Do we seem different when we drown? When we're spinning on our backs and hardly breathing? And the water's up to our necks and our mouths can barely open wide for all the crying in the dark. The man, he's driven here with a purpose. He's parked his car. He's now gotten out of it and gone to the boot. Picked out in a brown paper bag. stomping up the mountain there, towards the cliffs. 7 sisters. That's where he'll sit, on the bench, overlooking the sea. Do we seem different when we drown? That's where he'll drink. When we're spinning on our backs and hardly breathing, and the water's up to our necks, and our mouths can barely open wide for all the crying in the dark, and feeling my body fall off beneath me. You wouldn't let me go unless I kissed you. Did you like how I taste? This made him spit out his drink. So he looks in her eyes, and he tells her quite honestly, I just felt like I was going home.